From Collaborate Studios in Lynbrook, this is Sportsbash, presented by TicketBash.com. TicketBash.com, where memories are made affordable and where you'll never pay a service fee. Sportsbash is also presented by the Ryan Anthony Head Start Fund, a group of like-minded individuals trying to raise awareness to our future generations of all possibilities of success other than just college. For more information, visit www.lookwhomadeit.org. Well, hi again, everyone. Happy Thursday. I'm Peter Schwartz. Welcome to Sports Bash. And once again, we're here at the Collaborate Studios in Lynbrook. So thanks to Chris Ganem and his staff for having us here. And again, best wishes still to Tony Walker at Governors. Spoke to him a little while ago. He's doing better. So we hope to meet up with him again very, very soon. Most importantly, Tony, we hope you get better. And we see you back at Governors at some point in the very near future. Coming up on the show, now as you can see, I'm dually dressed today. I've got the Jets hat on because tonight is the NFL draft, and I've got the Yankee jersey on because the Yankees are in the middle of beating up on the Red Sox in Boston, but there's also some other Yankee news, and it has to do with jerseys and the possibility of the Yankees adding a third jersey to their repertoire, so to speak. So Jimmy Randazzo from Yankees Pod is going to join us here on the show. We'll talk about this whole story about the jerseys and about how the Yankees are doing right now. And obviously that's very well, winners of 5 straight games. We'll also have the Sports Bash Media poll question of the day. We'll have what's hot at ticketbash.com, and we'll have the Coaches Collectibles item of the week. Right now it is time for the Sports Bash Flash. It's presented by the Marty Lyons Foundation, granting wishes for more than 43 years. Tonight is the night. It's NFL draft night. Round 1 of the NFL draft is tonight in Pittsburgh. But obviously, if you can't make it to Pittsburgh, come to Bayshore because I'll be hosting the Marty Lyons Foundation NFL draft party for the 6th consecutive year. It's at Great South Bay Brewery in Bayshore. So you want to make sure you stop by, get your tickets. I think advance tickets are sold out, but there'll be some tickets available at the door tonight. It's a great event. Get to watch the draft. There's food, there's raffle prizes, drinks, and Marty Lyons, other former Jets, NFL alumni will be there. The raffle prizes are fantastic. It's a great event. I've been a part of this now for 6 years in a row, and it really is truly a great event. It's going to be a great crowd. And the one thing I really like about the draft party is it's not just it's mostly Jet fans because obviously Marty Lyons brings a lot of Jet fans to the table, but there's also Giant fans. But you will also see a sprinkling of people rooting for other teams. And what I like to do, I like to have fun when I open up the show. And I don't know if I'll do this again tonight because I'm going to try to come up with some new material when I take the mic at the beginning of the program. But I'll usually say something like, hey, raise your hand if you're a Jet fan. And a whole bunch of people will raise their hand. Jets, Jets. And then some people ask, who's a Giants fan? And some people will raise their hands. And I'll see out in the audience, there's somebody wearing a Patriots jersey. And I'll say, any Patriot fans here? And they'll raise their hand, and I'll say, all right, the exit's in the back. So we like to have a little fun with everybody who is there. But again, it's a great event. Look forward to seeing you there tonight. The Jets will have the 2nd pick in the first round and the 16th pick. The Giants will have the 5th and the 10th. So one of the most remarkable first rounds for local football fans ever, with the Jets and the Giants each with 2 first-round picks. Baseball last night, the Mets finally broke their losing streak. They end the streak at 12. They beat the Twins 3-2 at Citi Field. Yankees continue to win, a 5th straight win. They beat the Red Sox 4-1, and they'll finish up that series tonight in Boston with Cam Schlittler on the mound. Soccer, this is very unique. Both Red Bull New York and NYCFC both played last night, and they both played to 4-4 ties. You'll never see that again. Red Bulls in D.C., a 4-4 tie. NYCFC and Cincinnati, a 4-4 tie. And that's the Sports Bash Flash presented by the Marty Lyons Foundation. I mentioned Jimmy Randazzo from Yankees Pod is going to join me in a little bit. We're going to talk about this whole, Yankee jersey, Michigas, and also how the Yankees are doing. But I did want to start by talking about this jersey thing. Traditions, to me, are very important, whether it's sports or family, whatever it might be. I think sometimes people lose track of traditions. And sometimes you have to break with traditions. If you're family that meets up for holidays. Someone generally does something at the get together. Well, let's change it up this year. Let's have this person do it. Or every holiday season in the winter, you go to see a Broadway show and you've done it 20 years in a row. Now you want to change it up. Instead of going to that Broadway show, we're going to go away for the holiday. But for the most part, traditions are very, very important, whether it's family, friends, or sports. And you cannot have a sports conversation about traditions without the conversation really starting and ending with the New York Yankees. There has not been a franchise in sports history that has carried out tradition like the Yankees have. Because if you even look at other sports, and I'll go to football and the Green Bay Packers, they've strayed from their regular uniforms and have a third jersey. Even the Pittsburgh Steelers have that stupid bumblebee outfit. I don't even know if they wear that anymore, but they strayed. The Boston Celtics have worn, different jerseys. The Montreal Canadiens have worn different jerseys. The New York Yankees, through their whole history, have basically had the same jersey. Now, there's been some league MLB mandated times where the Yankees have had to wear a different jersey. There was a game in Detroit that was like a throwback game to commemorate something. There was the Little League weekend, Players Weekend, where they wore something different. And remember, the Yankees played in that Field of Dreams game where they wore something different. But for the most part, the Yankees have worn the home pinstripes with the NY, the interlocking NY. And on the road, they've worn gray uniforms with the New York across. Now, remember, a couple of years ago, they went back to the way it was like in the 60s, where there was no outline. It was just a solid New York and no stripes on the sleeves. But you get my point. The Yankees have had the same uniform basically throughout their entire history. And I remember when George Steinbrenner was alive, never would he even think about adding a jersey or changing the jersey. And I'm sure there were times over the years that he had that opportunity and he never did. But tradition with the Yankee uniform was actually broken a couple of times in recent years. First, when Nike became the jersey maker for Major League Baseball, all of a sudden that Nike swoosh shows up on the Yankee jersey. And I remember, and I was part of it. I'm not going to be a two-faced person here and be a hypocrite. When I saw that swoosh on the Yankee jersey, I flipped out as a diehard longtime Yankee fan. And you get used to it. It really, it's on the jersey, but nothing changed on the Yankee uniform. It's still the Yankee jersey, the pinstripes at home, the gray is on the road. But then a couple of years ago, the Yankees sold an ad on their jersey, Star Insurance, and Star Insurance wound up on the sleeve. And that was a whole nother form of hysteria that, oh my God, the Yankees now have an advertisement on their uniform. But you got used to it. You just, at the end of the day, you just care whether the Yankees win or lose if you're a Yankee fan. And now, in the last couple of days, another Yankee jersey controversy. First, it was reported that some Yankee players have gone to the higher ups saying, let's add a third jersey. And when I saw that, I flipped out. I'm like, no, you're not adding a third jersey to the Yankee apparel line. It's stupid. Because I thought when I read that, and this is why, like when you see a story online, you don't just go by the headline. You have to read the story and read everything, or wait to get all the facts before you lose your gasket, blow your gasket. I lost it. I don't want the Yankees to add another uniform. But then you read a little further and more reports come out, and it came out that this would only be for some road games, and it would actually be the batting practice spring training jersey that the Yankees wear during spring training, the blue jersey, same color as the one I'm wearing right now, with New York across the front. And then I said to myself, you know what? Why not? And again, tradition is tradition. And for the most part, the Yankees still follow in tradition. They still play in Yankee Stadium. They're still the Bronx Bombers. The mission statement is still to get to the World Series and win it. But we got rid of tradition a couple of years ago when Hal Steinbrenner took away the facial hair policy. That's gone by the wayside. And that was a whole topic of conversation. And then the jersey thing the other day. You know what? As long as it's not one of these Fakakta City Connect jerseys. Now, as you know, I'm not a Mets fan, but I live with 3 Met fans. My wife and my boys are Met fans. I got the Islanders. My wife and I had to compromise. You know the story, yada, yada, yada. But everybody else in my household are Met fans. And maybe I shouldn't comment on this because you might think that I'm biased in this feeling, but I have all the respect in the world for the Mets. I don't get those purple City Connect jerseys. I really don't. I know it's like, it's a dedication to New York, but it's not Met colors. My kids love it, but I don't get it. So I didn't want the Yankees to go to that extreme. If they're going to add a third jersey, keep it traditional. The Yankee blue, New York across the front, and I'm fine with it. And I'll say this too. You see this jersey I'm wearing right now? I got this jersey. I'm going to give a shout out, not a sponsor, but I'm going to give a shout out to DXL, the big and tall clothing company. I do a lot of shopping there, and they're great people. But I got this jersey in DXL. I thought it was really cool. I got it a couple of years ago. It's got the Yankee top hat logo. I want to get that in the picture, Chris. I'm going the wrong way. This way. There we go. There's the Yankee top hat logo. So, but I saw this jersey and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to get it. It's not the typical Yankee jersey, but I got it. And as much as I'm now in favor of the Yankees wearing that blue spring training jersey with New York across the front for some away games, I actually wouldn't mind if they did something like this for a home game here and there. And you're going to say, oh my God, Peter, what kind of a Yankee fan are you? You're going to go away from tradition? Well, what's more traditional than, I'm pointing the wrong way, the Yankees interlocking NY and the top hat logo? What's more traditional than Yankee Midnight Blue? See, traditions are a funny thing because you could be a stickler and stick to that tradition every single year. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. You got to go in that order. You got to keep tradition. Yeah, this person leads, the prayers on holidays, and this person always brings, a cake to get-togethers. Well, we could change traditions once in a while, and it doesn't really hurt anybody. What would actually be the harm? In the end, it wouldn't be a regular thing. It would be a once in a while thing. What would be the problem on a every other Sunday, or not every other Sunday, but like an oddball Sunday, if they wore this at a home game, or they wore the one that we were talking about with the New York across the front for a home game here and there? As long as you're not changing up the entire tradition of the Yankee uniform. I suppose tradition is what you make it. But if you're telling me that the Yankees were going to come up with, Fakakta black jersey with the skyline of New York in it, or, something like that, no, that's not what I would want to see. But it's Yankee blue. It's the NY. It's New York across the front. It's just in a different pattern. Which is why, as an Islanders fan, I love when they had that orange jersey, because it was an Islander color. And I did not like the fisherman jersey. I didn't like the black jerseys that they came out with. But when they had that orange jersey, that was really cool. And also, back to the Mets for a second. Remember when the Mets had those orange jerseys in spring training? I thought those would have been cool if the Mets wore those during a regular season game. I really liked that jersey. Again, I'm not a Mets fan, but I thought that was really cool. And I was surprised the Mets never wore that. And they come up with a million different ways of doing jerseys. But I'm all for tradition. But as long as you have that respect for tradition, you can break the tradition a little bit. And really, again, what is the harm? We're not talking about a permanent change. We're not talking about every single Sunday or every single Thursday game at 1:00. It's once in a while. Break out the blues. Not going to wear it during the playoffs, but what if you just did it once in a while? And again, you're not completely breaking from tradition because you're still sticking to the Yankee logos, the NY, the top hat logo, and Yankee blue. So what's the harm? And again, not to sound like a hypocrite, when I first heard the news, I was like, no freaking way. But that's why sometimes before you explode on something, you have to think about what you're going to say first and really take a deep dive. I'm sure there's a lot of younger Yankee fans that would have no problem with the Yankees going really extreme and doing something crazy. No, we don't want to do that. But we'll do something like this. We'll do something like this with the New York. I have no problem with that. But I'll tell you this, and I'll wrap up this conversation this way. And again, tradition is very important. Sports, family, friends. It's important to have tradition. Sometimes you can alter it. Sometimes you can discard it for a year. But as long as you have respect for that tradition, I think that's what's most important. And when it comes to the Yankees, there's one tradition that I think is the most important thing, and that's winning the World Series. And the Yankees have done that more than any other team in baseball history, 27 times. So you know what tradition I would like the Yankees to get back to? Winning World Series. They haven't done it since 2009. Got to the World Series in 2024. It's been a long time. And I know that sounds like a stuck-up Yankee fan when you think about some other teams that haven't won it in a really long time. But when we're talking about tradition, let's be honest. The most important Yankee tradition is winning. And when the Yankees can get back to that, then maybe you go back to your standard traditions. But as far as the jersey goes, as long as they keep it blue, as long as they keep the NY, as long as they keep the top hat logo, I'm fine with it once in a while. But let's get back to the most important Yankee tradition, and that is winning. And another part of that is beating the crap out of the Red Sox, which the Yankees have done a good job. Playoffs last year and the first two games in Boston this year. We come back on Sports Bash. We're going to talk more about the Yankees. Jimmy Randazzo, who hosts the very popular Yankees pod, we're going to talk to him about the whole jersey situation, also about what the Yankees are doing right now. That's all coming up when we come back right after this. Sponsor, the Embassy Diner.
Embassy Diner has been a beloved staple in the restaurant industry for over 50 years. And the great thing about it is when you walk through the door, you're not a customer, you are family. Every visit promises to be filled with warmth, love, and respect.
And here's an extra treat. If you mention Sports Bash during your visit, you enjoy a free dessert on the Embassy Diner.
Come on down to the Embassy Diner, where great food and great company are always on the menu.
Visit the Embassy Diner, located at 4280 Hempstead Turnpike in Bethpage.
In 1982, the Marty Lyons Foundation began with a single heartfelt mission: to bring moments of joy and hope to critically ill children by granting wishes that make their dreams come true. Since that day, we have touched the lives of over 8,600 families, raising over $44 million to grant wishes that offer a beacon of light in their darkest times. These precious wishes cost an average of $7,100 each. And your support is crucial to our mission. Every donation, big or small, makes a difference. And with 84 cents of every dollar going directly to supporting our families, you can rest assured your support truly changes lives. The Marty Lyons Foundation operates 11 chapters in 14 states now, working tirelessly to reach as many children as we can. This dedication goes hand in hand with our commitment to transparency and accountability, earning us top ratings on Charity Navigator, Great Nonprofits, and Candid, which underscores our dedication to those we serve. The Marty Lyons Foundation grants wishes to children ages 3 to 17. And what really makes this foundation so special is our willingness to grant not only a first wish, but also consider a second wish to a child who continues to battle a life-threatening illness. We stand by these children, offering them hope and strength through the power of dreams, giving our children the courage to wish for more.
What's your purpose in life? Is your purpose in life to live in the big house and drive the nice car? No. Your purpose in this life is to make it a little bit better for those that follow and realize that we live for today to see a better tomorrow.
Visit MartyLyonsFoundation.org to learn more and get involved.
Welcome back to Sports Bash, presented by TicketBash.com and the Ryan Anthony Head Start Fund. I'm Peter Schwartz. So welcome back to a Thursday edition of Sports Bash, and obviously a lot going on in Yankee universe right now. And I thought this guy would be a fantastic guest to talk about everything that's going on with the Yankees right now. He hosts the very, very popular Yankees pod. We welcome to Sports Bash, I think for the first time, Jimmy Randazzo. Jimmy, it's Peter. How are you?
Peter, how are you, man? How you doing?
I'm doing great. So you got the Yankee hat on. I got a jersey on. I'm also got the Jet hat on to get ready for the draft tonight. So I think we got all the bases covered. Let me start with this whole jersey controversy. I just spent the monologue talking about it, and I was talking a lot about tradition. And where do you stand on this this thought that the Yankees could bring out their spring training road blues with the New York on front as a regular season jersey here and there?
You know, the old me 10 years ago, I would have had a problem with this. I don't have a problem with this. There are two things that I would have a problem with. One, if the Yankees did anything to the pinstripes. So if they changed the home jersey, and I heard you talking about fiddling with the home jerseys. I'm out on changing the home jerseys. I think they should go with the pinstripes no matter what. And number two, I think that the Yankees should never have names on the back of their jerseys.
Agreed.
If you're in Seattle in August and you want to wear your blue jerseys, something similar to what you're wearing right now, do I have a problem with it? No, not really. Do I think it breaks tradition? Maybe a little bit, but you know, I don't have a problem with the players want to wear the blue jerseys sometimes. They're playing 80 games in the gray ones. I don't have a problem with it, you know, maybe doing it 10 times a year or whatever they're thinking about doing. So, yeah, I'm more focused on what's on the field. So, you know, and it's a good topic point, and we saw all Yankees Twitterverse weigh in on it yesterday. Some people liked it. Some people didn't like it. I'm just at the point where, like, don't change the home uniforms, don't change the no names on the back, and you're all good with me here.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. And look, and when I first heard about the possibility of adding a jersey, I flipped out. I'm 58 years old. I grew up with the Yankees. I grew up only knowing the home white pinstripes and the road grays. But when you really start to think about it, what is tradition? And I talked about this on the monologue. You know, tradition is what you make out of it. And as long as the Yankees don't deviate from the NY, they don't deviate from the top hat logo. And I guess we'll disagree on the home thing. I wouldn't have a problem if the Yankees wore something like this once in a while at home. And obviously they would never wear it in the postseason. I just think tradition is what you make out of it. But I'll tell you what, right now, I'd like to see the Yankees get back to the tradition of winning World Series. That's the most important thing.
Fair, definitely fair. Yeah, and I saw a lot of people being like, how are you going to change uniforms if you haven't won in 17 years, blah, blah, blah. It's like, all right, I don't know. The marketability of baseball is at its highest level. We have the patch on that. We have a Star Insurance patch. Yeah. I mean, things change. And yeah, you're right. It's all about what happens on the field. The Yankees need to win a World Series. It's been way too long since I've been able to gloat to my friends and, you know, other people in the city. So, yeah, I'm right there with you. We need to get back to winning baseball.
Yeah, you know, it's I would like to gloat to the rest of my family who are all Met fans because my wife and I had to make a compromise a number of years ago. But my older son was only 4 the last time they won. My younger son wasn't born. And I would like to have that chance to gloat. I think that would be a lot of fun. Let's talk about what's going on the field. And Yankees started out great to the season, then hit that little bit of a lull. And now they seem to have things back on track with 5 straight wins, including 2 in a row over the Red Sox. So where do you stand? Have you taken the temperature of this team in your mind, and where do you think they stand right now?
So the offense, I think, is fine. Aaron Judge, Ben Rice, Giancarlo Stanton, Cody Bellinger are, you know, the meat of that lineup. And I don't think that they're going to have issues all season long. They're just really good hitters. The starting pitching has been amazing. Yeah. You know, you're looking at Luis Gil, and people are giving Luis Gil a lot of crap, but the guy has a 4.11 ERA right now, and that's our 7th starter when Cole and Rodon come back. So I think the starters are fine. The real issue I have is with the bullpen.
Yeah.
The bullpen is really not good right now. There's only one guy I truly trust out there, and that's Tim Hill. Bednar will be fine, and Cruz is fine. But other than that, like, no offense to Brett Hedrick, but I've never heard of him before, before 2 years ago. And they just have a lot of no-name type of guys out there with not the, high velocity. So, yeah, they're going to need to pick up bullpen arms. I've been really disappointed with Camilo Doval, just an absolute zero out there. He was supposed to be someone that he was supposed to be the setup man when we got him in July last season.
Oh, yeah.
A little bit frustrating. The thing that I'm most frustrated with, though, right now with the New York Yankees is this whole Ben Rice situation. Ben Rice is arguably the second best hitter in baseball. He's 27 years old. We want him to improve his glove. We want him to improve versus left-handed pitching. Well, he has a 1.167 on OPS versus left-handed pitching. He gets benched 2 days in a row when he's the hottest hitter in the baseball. And I think sometimes these guys just want to be the smartest people in the room and be like, oh, well, we're facing a lefty tonight, so we can't bat our lefty. Well, what if your lefty is the best hitter in baseball?
Well, see, that's Jimmy, I don't mean to cut you off, but that kills me about the Yankees in recent years, that they have gone so analytical. This would never have happened in the old days. You put the best 9 players out there, the best pitchers out there, and I can't stand this analytical approach to it. Now, do I think that there's a place in sports for analytics? Yeah, I think there's a place to a certain extent, but to cut and dry, take a left-handed hitter like Ben Rice out just because there's a left-hander on the mound, it doesn't make any sense to me. And I can't stand the fact that the Yankees have applied this to their everyday, way that they're doing business. It blows my mind.
Yeah, and like if you want to talk about analytics in sports, like going for it on 4th and 2, I'm all fine with that, but it gets ridiculous when there's just a guy who's clearly one of the best hitters in baseball, and he's getting benched 2 days in a row. And then yesterday, you don't play him. Well, they're like, well, we have to give Paul Goldschmidt's time. It's like, no, you don't. He's a backup for a reason. Ben Rice is your guy. You want him to improve the glove. You want him to improve versus left-handed pitching. Play him versus left-handed pitching. And then, of course, a lot of people agree with me. A lot of people were saying you're overreacting. It's game whatever. But Paul Goldschmidt went out yesterday and went 0 for 4. So, I mean, it's not like, it's not like his replacement is Barry Bonds. So that's all I have to say about that.
And, it's nice having Paul Goldschmidt back on the team this year, because I do think he serves a purpose. I think if you wanted to, give Ben Rice a blow once in a blue moon, or if you want to, throw him out there as the DH to give Stanton a rest once in a while, I have no problem with that. But Ben Rice has to be the everyday first baseman, and I hope the Yankees come to their senses and just let this stupid analytical approach go away, because that guy needs to be in the lineup every single day.
Yeah, and it's not like they're playing the Colorado Rockies. You're playing your division rival. You're playing the Boston Red Sox, and I don't know. It's we talk about sample sizes, and Ben Rice went 0 for 4 the night before, and that's just way too small of a sample size to not see him. And of course, Paul Goldschmidt should play 20, 30 games this year. I have no problem with, Giancarlo Stanton is a guy that needs days off. He clearly needs days off. He needs 2 days off. He's an older guy now. Ben Rice is young. He's spry. He needs these reps. And that's why I get a little bit frustrated, because I'm like, who is deciding this, and why are they deciding to take their second best hitter out of the lineup? And especially just a guy that's so hot. But again, it's 1 of 162. I know I shouldn't be that animated about something, but
no, we're on the same page with that. I think we're on the same page. I'm old school to a certain degree, which makes it hard for me to get into this whole analytic thing. The jersey controversy is not appropriate for an old school person like myself. But anyway, where do you stand on this idea that somebody writes the lineup card for Aaron Boone? Because when you're talking about analytics, you're talking about that analytics department saying, well, Ben Rice should be sat against a left-handed hitter. Brian Cashman is telling Aaron Boone how to make up his lineup. That was a whole back and forth thing that we heard a lot about last year. Where do you stand on that? Do you think Aaron Boone's making out his own lineup?
I do. I actually do. I think that Aaron Boone works very closely with the analytics department. I think that some of Boone's ideas aren't even his own. I think he's just so intertwined. Aaron Boone, I've had an issue with for a while because he doesn't, he'll scream at an umpire. He'll freak out on an umpire, but he doesn't really give it to his players.
Yeah.
And, that's kind of what a manager's supposed to do sometimes. He's very player friendly, and that might work with the Cincinnati Reds or something. But I don't know. I feel like he's just a little too player friendly. And obviously, every single media answer is perfection.
Right.
He came from ESPN. He knows exactly what to say. He knows the temperament of a 162-game season. But on who's making the lineup, I don't know. Chris Kirshner wrote an article saying that Aaron Boone makes the lineup. Who knows? Honestly, I don't know what's going on. It's just frustrating. I need Aaron Boone to have more of a backbone.
Yeah.
And not just rely on the lefty righty stuff just absolutely kills me. It's Ben Rice, better than Paul Goldschmidt. He should be playing versus left-handed pitchers. Right now, Ahmed Rosario should just be playing every single day because he's a better player than Ryan McMahon. Just little things like that. And I don't know, it's like we're almost playing soccer where you're in Ahmed Rosario gets pinch hit for after hitting a 3-run homer yesterday. It's maybe just let the guy who's feeling it tonight just stay in the game and pinch hit Ben Rice for somebody else. But I don't know. I have no idea who's making the lineup. But I do know that Aaron Boone is a yes man. And I tried. I was I'm going to try this year to give him the benefit of the doubt. It lasted 11 days because Ben Rice is
We're talking to Jimmy Randazzo, the host of Yankees Pod. He's joining us here on Sports Bash today as the Yankees are set to finish up their series with the Red Sox tonight in Boston with Cam Schlittler on the mound. And that's another storyline with what him and his family are going through with the threats there in Boston. But he has never pitched in Fenway Park. This is going to be his Fenway Park debut. And I think that's going to be a lot of flashes are going to be going off tonight at Fenway with him on the mound.
Yeah, I love Cam Schlittler. I love, he tweeted, keep on talking. I heard Aaron Boone told him to relax a little bit on social media. These Red Sox fans are, they're ruthless. I mean, everybody on Twitter is ruthless. You could say the most normal take of all time, and you're going to get haters and trolls. Sure. And, there's this account in Boston that legitimately has made a living now off of trolling other people and putting people down. And honestly, Cam Schlittler cannot do anything wrong. He should avoid. You know what, though? There are some people who get the noise and the troll and they act out or they don't play their best. Cam Schlittler took in all the hatred. And he went out and pitched perfectly versus Boston last year in the postseason. Cam Schlittler is a big-time pitcher. The noise is nothing to him. He's just an absolute baller. And, even when Rodon comes back, I think Schlittler's our three. I think it's Fried, Cole, and Schlittler. I trust Cam Schlittler just as much as anybody.
Let's get to that. The reinforcements are on the way as we sit here at the end of April. We've seen Garrett Cole make some rehab starts. Carlos Rodon is getting ready to do the same thing. We have Anthony Volpe has been in the minors, hitting the ball very well and playing shortstop. I think it's just a matter of time before these guys are all going to come back one by one. What are your thoughts on the Yankees now having to fit those three guys in, and also who might have to come out?
It's an interesting question because Caballero has been a pest. He started off really slow, but he does the right things on the base pass. He's doing everything that Anthony Volpe should be doing, kind of just like being a pest, playing good defense. Yankees universe is about to get very toxic once Anthony Volpe comes back because, he's so controversial. Anthony Volpe needs to learn how to play for contact. The Yankees don't need their shortstop hitting 25 home runs. They need him making contact, extending innings, just playing sound baseball. So on the shortstop front, it's going to be interesting. I'm telling you, it's going to be insane. If you're on social media, the amount of hatred that Anthony Volpe gets when he misses an error or whatever, it's very loud over there. But as far as starting pitching, I think that Randall Grichuk might be the odd man out when Anthony Volpe does come back, because I think you want to keep Caballero. So we'll see. Maybe they get rid of one of these bullpen guys and kind of just start switching them out because, they're really not that vital to this team. And then as far as the starting pitching goes, like Garrett Cole is my guy. Like, I love Garrett Cole. He's a gamer. Him and Rodon come back. Like, I don't know what you do with these other guys because they've been pitching so well. Like, Ryan Weathers has been great. Will Warren has been great. I think what you have to do is,
I think they help the bullpen, Jimmy. I think those guys are gonna make the bullpen a little bit stronger because it's not like they're going to get rid of Ryan Weathers. They're not going to get rid of Will Warren. Those guys, if they're not in the rotation, they'll just help out in the bullpen.
Yeah, I think that there's a world where Luis Gil and Ryan Weathers are in the bullpen. I would continue to start Will Warren because of how crazy he is, crazy good he's been, and how young he is. Excuse me. And then, I know it's crazy to say because he's so young, but this Carlos Lagrange kid, or Lagrange, however you say it, he was the bright spot of spring training. He's throwing 102. So, obviously you want to keep him as a starter during the season, but I don't think it's crazy to say that in October, that guy's in the bullpen throwing 102, giving you 15, 20 pitches. So I haven't really looked at the roster construction that well, but I will say that personally, I would keep Will Warren at the 5, and then, Ryan Weathers to the bullpen. And we'll see with Luis Gil because he has bad games, and even his good games, his velocity was still down, and they were saying he was throwing meatballs, but he looked pretty good to me. So it's a good problem to have, a really good problem to have.
No question about it. Jimmy, I can't thank you enough for spending some time with me on the show. Best of luck with the podcast. And when I start my new podcast project very, very soon, hopefully you'll come on again at some point this season so we can talk Yankee baseball again. Anytime
you need me, I'm here for you.
You got it. Thanks, Jimmy. Jimmy Randazzo, host of Yankees Pod. Check him out on social media. Check out his podcast. Does a great job talking about the Yankees on his podcast. We have a lot more to do when we come back here on Sports Bash. We've got the Sports Bash Media poll question of the day. We've got what's hot at ticketbash.com. And we also have the the Coaches Collectibles item of the week. And I'm also going to tell you about Long Island Ducks opening night. Went to the other day. And we'll talk about that in Trevor Bauer's Ducks debut when we come back right after this. Sponsor, the Embassy Diner.
Embassy Diner has been a beloved staple in the restaurant industry for over 50 years. And the great thing about it is when you walk through the door, you're not a customer, you are family. Every visit promises to be filled with warmth, love, and respect.
And here's an extra treat. If you mention Sports Bash during your visit, you enjoy a free dessert on the Embassy Diner.
Come on down to the Embassy Diner, where great food and great company are always on the menu.
Visit the Embassy Diner, located at 4280 Hempstead Turnpike in Bethpage.
In 1982, the Marty Lyons Foundation began with a single heartfelt mission: to bring moments of joy and hope to critically ill children by granting wishes that make their dreams come true. Since that day, we have touched the lives of over 8,600 families, raising over $44 million to grant wishes that offer a beacon of light in their darkest times. These precious wishes cost an average of $7,100 each. And your support is crucial to our mission. Every donation, big or small, makes a difference. And with 84 cents of every dollar going directly to supporting our families, you can rest assured your support truly changes lives. The Marty Lyons Foundation operates 11 chapters in 14 states now, working tirelessly to reach as many children as we can. This dedication goes hand in hand with our commitment to transparency and accountability, earning us top ratings on Charity Navigator, Great Nonprofits, and Candid, which underscores our dedication to those we serve. The Marty Lyons Foundation grants wishes to children ages 3 to 17. And what really makes this foundation so special is our willingness to grant not only a first wish, but also consider a second wish to a child who continues to battle a life-threatening illness. We stand by these children, offering them hope and strength through the power of dreams, giving our children the courage to wish for more.
What's your purpose in life? Is your purpose in life to live in the big house and drive the nice car? No. Your purpose in this life is to make it a little bit better for those that follow and realize that we live for today to see a better tomorrow.
Visit MartyLyonsFoundation.org to learn more and get involved.
Welcome back to Sports Bash. I'm Peter Schwartz. And again, thanks to Jimmy Randazzo from Yankees Pod for joining me in the last segment. And a lot of great stuff from him. You want to follow along on his pod, talk about the Yankees and what they're doing and the whole jersey controversy that's going on. He's covering all of that over at Yankees Pod. It's time for the Sports Bash Media poll question of the day. It's brought to you by Embassy Diner, located at 4280 Hempstead Turnpike in Bethpage. Every customer is considered family at the Embassy Diner. Mention Sports Bash, get a free dessert with your meal. And we post a new question every Tuesday and Thursday on the Sports Bash Media X/Twitter page. And again, on the topic of the Yankees jersey controversy, Yankee fans, are you okay with the Yankees adding an alternate road jersey? And again, my opinion is, as long as it's not breaking completely from tradition, they're sticking with the blue, they're sticking with the New York, I'm fine with it. Last time I checked, yes was winning, but I'll have to check again and see how that poll winds up finishing up. It's time for What's Hot at TicketBash.com. The Yankees host the Royals this weekend. The Knicks will host the Hawks in Game 5 of the first round of the NBA playoffs. That'll be next week, so you want to stay tuned for that. Concerts, Demi Lovato at the Garden April 24th. Bruce Springsteen, E Street Band coming to the Garden May 11th and 16th. The Boss will also be at UBS Arena on May 5th. Lionel Richie, Earth, Wind & Fire at UBS Arena July 14th. That should be a fun concert all night long. Get the best seats at the best prices with no service fees at TicketBash.com. It is time for the Coach's Collectibles Item of the Week. And we've got the Mike Piazza helmets. Great item. We talked about it on Tuesday. Mike Piazza autographed helmets for you from Coach's Collectibles. And Coach's Collectibles, your number one source for 100% authentic sports memorabilia and live public autograph events. Check them out online at www.coachescollectiblesny.com. And make sure you use the code SPORTSBASH to get free shipping on all of your orders. Before we say goodbye, I want one last thing I wanted to talk about, and that was the happening that took place in Central Islip on Tuesday with the Long Island Ducks opening night. And of course, opening night was headlined by the fact that Trevor Bauer, the former Cy Young Award winner, who basically has been banished from Major League Baseball for some off-the-field situation, but he's been pitching in other countries, and now he's back on American soil, and he had some offers, and he selected the Long Island Ducks, and he made his Ducks debut pitching on opening night and getting the start in front of a sellout crowd. Now, I got to tell you something. I've been to Ducks games when the games have been sold out, like you see on your screen right now. And again, it was a late arriving crowd because the parking situation was insane. The concourse was insane. There was so much excitement for Trevor Bauer. The game was sold out. They had Trevor Bauer t-shirts in the Waddle Inn shop, the Ducks gift store, team store, and those were sold out. So there was definitely a huge interest in Trevor Bauer making the start. He pitches 4 innings. Gave up 3 runs in those 4 innings, but I thought he pitched okay. And he pointed out on social media, it was essentially his first spring training start of the season. Now he did, he walked a couple of batters. He got bailed out by a couple of great defensive plays. I also think his defense let him down. I think the umpires let him down a couple of times, but for the most part, I thought he pitched very well. And here's the thing that I love, where you're going to see a photo of Trevor and the catcher walking back into the dugout after one of the innings. So we were sitting right behind the Ducks dugout, 4 rows behind the Ducks dugout. Incredible seats, but it was great to see Trevor Bauer interacting with the fans, especially the kids. Now, if you don't know this, Trevor Bauer has been a hit on social media with these videos, instructional videos and inspirational videos that he has been putting on social media. And the kids have been really following him. My kids have been following him as well. And he was so interactive, engaging with everybody, saying thank you, smile on his face. Here's a guy that for every reason in the world could just be here just to get a couple of games in. You see him jogging back out to the mound there to start the next inning. But this could be a guy that just basically said, hey, this is it, last-ditch effort, I'm coming back. And he could say the hell with the fans. But at the media day and FanFest last week, he spent 90 minutes signing autographs. 90 minutes signing autographs. So, again, not to diminish what he did off the field, and obviously there was never any charges. Charges were dropped. Whatever it was, no reason to go backwards. But he was never found guilty of anything. But obviously, because of what happened, and I guess from character issues, he has not gotten a sniff from any Major League Baseball team. And I think we live in a society that likes to give people second chances. I mean, look here in New York at the athletes that were given second, third, and fourth chances. You start with Doc Gooden and Darryl Strawberry and Lawrence Taylor and all these guys that, did some pretty bad things, and they got second chances. So Trevor Bauer, to me, has done all the right things. I thought for a first time out the other night, he pitched well, and he seems excited. He seems rejuvenated. He seems very into helping out the Ducks and helping, to grow, Atlantic League Baseball. So my hat's off to Trevor for coming here to Long Island. He'll pitch again on Sunday, and we'll see how many starts he gets here for the Ducks, and we'll see if any Major League Baseball teams take a chance on him. But I certainly hope he gets another opportunity, because I think he deserves a second chance. And let's be honest, he's a Cy Young Award winner. And I think he's 34 years old, 34, 35 years old. So it's not like he's 40. I mean, he could still help a team. And God knows some of these Major League teams could certainly use the pitching help. And I think Trevor Bauer would help him. But you wonder if there's just a complete banishment. He said after the game, he's blacklisted from Major League Baseball. I hope he gets to open up some eyes. I hope somebody gives him a chance, because I think, again, anyone in society, as long as you kill somebody or whatever, is a different thing, or you can do some really heinous things. But he seems like he has turned his life around and wants to play in the major leagues again. We'll see if there's a major league team out here that gives him a chance. And look, he's pitching on Long Island, with 2 major league teams very close by, and obviously the other teams in the Northeast in the American and National League can take a real close look at him. We'll see, but it was nice. It was really cool atmosphere. I closed my comments on that by saying that again, I've been to that ballpark, Fairfield Properties ballpark, a bunch of times when it's been sold out, but the atmosphere there on Tuesday night was just insane. You couldn't walk around the concourse. People trying to get souvenirs and food and all that stuff. It was pretty cool. And for the Long Island Ducks, who are entering a new era this year with new ownership, Rev Entertainment buying the team from Frank Bolton, that was a pretty good way to start out with a full house, with that kind of excitement, with media attention that was there. That was pretty cool. And again, maybe I'm a little biased because I'm one of the Long Island Ducks public address announcers. By the way, my first game will be this coming Tuesday night, April 28th. I'll be the Ducks PA announcer out in Central Islip. So if my horrible voice, leads you out to Central Islip, so be it. I don't get any extra money off any extra tickets if someone wants to come hear me do PA. But would love to see everybody out at the ballpark on Tuesday night. And again, that was a lot of fun this past Tuesday. That'll do it for this edition of Sports Bash, presented by Ticketbash.com and Ryan Anthony's Heating and Air Conditioning Service. Thanks to my guest, Jimmy Randazzo from Yankees Pod. Thanks to Chris Ganem, everyone here at Collaborate Studios. There's a little typo there. And thanks to our social media coordinator, Leanne Burgess. Sports Bash is sponsored by the Embassy Diner, by Coaches Collectibles, and the Marty Lyons Foundation. Thanks to everyone for watching and listening. We're back on Tuesday, 1 o'clock Eastern Time for the